That way we both can have it.
Hello, David. So good to
Hi.
meet you.
Oh, thank you, Kasha. Lovely to meet you too.
I'm so excited about you coming to Krakow, to Poland, because there is a lot of people looking forward to meeting you and getting to know you and your work.
I'm really
So
happy to come there too. I have not been to Poland, and I am a traveler. I love to travel. Well, I've traveled a lot, I should say, but now I love to travel and share this work.
fantastic. And I think the autumn is a perfect time for your visit in Krakow.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. So we are very excited to have you in Lindsay in October 2024.
Yeah. I wondered if you had any questions about my work. Maybe we could talk a little bit about it for other people interested too.
Absolutely. I've heard about systemic consensus, but I can imagine that your approach to this subject is specific. So would you like to share a little more about it?
Sure. You know, I live in an intentional community. About 8 families started it in 1990, and I very soon into it, we began to learn nonviolent communication because we needed it. It was really difficult. Although we had great ideas about community, we were born in a culture where community is really so fractured. And so nonviolent communication was really helpful in helping us connect. And then there's this whole other part of connection that was really a bit of a mystery at the time and difficult, which is, what's going on inside of us, the histories we carry, and how do we, and all that we communicate beyond our words. So that's, when I was learning it and, watching Marshall Rosenberg, or early on, one of my early influences was Robert Gonzalez. Yeah, very creative and doing things, embodying the work and expressing it in their own ways, both Marshall and Robert. And I was like, how do you do that? And it really was a quest for me to develop practices that fit with that fill in for me, the practices of NVC, so that I can practice it as a lifelong practice, much more than like a lot of tools and things I was memorizing, which is how I started, but to actually expand it. So it's actually a way to walk in the world and who I am, and build practices that connect us to, our feelings, which are really our bodies, and our needs, which is what we feel. It's our whole selves. So I brought in the world of somatics, and another love of mine, which is Aikido, which I had been studying that for a long time before NVC, but it's really nonviolent communication, because in this art of connection, which is what that is, it's a way of giving each situation what it needs, not too much, not too little, to connect. And that develops a healing touch. And empathy is a healing touch. It's a non-physical, but it is a touch. It's a holding. And so all these practices, they all kind of came together to feed the work with nonviolent communication. And I've been deeply moved to develop and share it, just because I love to bring that to the NVC global learning community. And that seems to be what I've been doing a lot lately.
sounds fantastic. And I'm really, you know, like I am filled with joy because your words are precisely what I was hoping to get today. And Marshall and Robert Gonzalez, I feel like without the spiritual part, NVC is just a method, it's just a language. And adding this element of true connection to our bodies and senses. I don't practice Aikido, but I practice yoga. And
yeah,
I feel like life is a dance where we really, it really matters if we are in connection with our partners.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like yoga, it's a whole life practice, and you can practice yoga mechanically and take parts of it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But to expand it into a, a way of it's not so much, yeah, it's like not so much what you say, but it's really who you are as you show up to a conversation. Yeah. The book is beginning to be in the process of being translated into Polish, called Becoming What You. And the idea is, meeting our needs, being with our needs, feeling our needs. But to actually become it, become honesty, become empathy, become joy and kindness, so that these words actually, through the practice of them, teach us what they mean. These are words, needs. We talk about needs as qualities of life. That's a language of life, what Marshall Rosenberg calls it, But the idea that, wow, if those are life, they have so much to teach us. So basically, the practices, these needs, what we call needs, are these deeper qualities of life are things we can really practice and learn from for the rest of our lives, because they're life. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes so well with this idea that needs are life energy. So when I am becoming my needs, that means that I am more alive. Is that?
Yeah, well, that's it for sure. And sometimes, yes, it's like, it's hard to just talk about. I want to just go, oh, let's practice. You want to try a little tiny practice for right now, just for.
I would love that.
All right. I mean, and this is just, again, just to kind of, okay. I'm, if you, first of all, if you think about, a difficult conversation you're having in your life, or something that's difficult, challenging, imagine it's happening right now. You're in the middle of that conversation. Okay. When you do that, what goes on in your body? Can you notice any change?
I feel a lot of tension, especially in my neck, in my throat, in my heart area. My chest is congested.
So these are a lot going on.
Tension in my cheeks.
These are strategies, things that you have learned in your life to do to meet beautiful needs. But often they're things that you learn when you're younger. And everybody has them. Everybody has them. This might be, I better not say anything right now for the sake of, I don't know, safety or belonging, or,
holding peace.
Yeah.
Belonging.
Oh, I better protect my heart. This is too much. Things like that. They're all strategies in service, like all strategies, of beautiful needs. But they can often be unconscious, and they're always happening. We have those. So when we talk and we add these words, if our body is contracted in emotional protectiveness, then people are going to feel two messages: wonderful words and protection.
Intention. Mm-hmm.
So how do we work with that? And that is a lot of the workshop. But now let's go the other way. Now,
okay.
You know, in that interaction you were imagining,
Yeah.
what is one, you know, a need, one quality you would wish to have a little bit more of that would really might help?
It's ease and connection.
Lovely. Can we pick, let's just pick one of them, okay?
Connection. Connection screams out. I want to be in connection.
All right. So here's a practice. And like everything to me is a practice, because we're always practicing. And I'm practicing how I'm talking. You're practicing how you're breathing. This is how we learn. So we are what we have practiced, and we can intentionally practice who we choose to become. So with this, here's a small practice. You know, it's like, so Kasha, ask yourself. Well, first of all, do this. Take a deep breath like this. Go.
Yeah.
Oh. And you can sit in your vertical length, so everything's nice and aligned with the earth and your head, heart, belly. And relax. And then ask yourself, how would it feel right now if you had just a little bit more of that, you know, that connection that you love? Ask your body, ask yourself, how would that feel to have just a little bit more of that?
You know, I'm imagining being a lamp which is just plugged in, and it gives this warm, gentle light.
So that's the image that comes to you. And also what goes on in your body?
The smile comes to my face. I find more clarity. You know, it's almost like all this fog is clearing out.
So clear thinking, smile.
Yeah.
What else?
The breath goes deeper. You know, I'm observing my breath, and it's just easier to breathe. Okay. There is still a little tension in my throat, but much less.
Okay. So what we're doing here, and again, we're just taking a few minutes, but that's a lot of information in just a moment. Basically, this is an empathic question you asked your body to connect, and you receive, and your body answered you. It said,
yes.
You know,
and I feel much more connected to myself.
This is the shape of connection. And the images of it, the information. It was a lot of information. When you ask life an empathic question to life, it gives you this information. And imagine doing that every day, just with the word connection, for a month, for 5 minutes every day, what it would reveal. That's a practice. And I also want to say that I want to just finish that up now, since we started that. You know, this tightened a little bit, right? Without going into it much, you know, this is a sign of, like, it's like the iris of the eye. If it's too much light, the iris closes a little bit because it's taking care of you. This is the same thing. It might be conscious or unconscious, but right then that was a little too much, and it just said, no, wait. So a way to begin to work with that,
to protect.
Yeah. So you can ask yourself this: how would it feel just to have maybe one molecule more of that connection you love? Just one. And what do you notice?
Oh, yeah, that's a big change.
Okay, so without going into it more, this is a big exploration, and this is a way of practicing needs as a whole lifelong body, mind, energetic practice. So that's, and not only that, what we'll do in the workshop is a way to bring those qualities into our empathic listening to others. How's that sound?
Sounds very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I love to explore things more as an experience versus talking about it.
Wow. You talked me into joining your workshop. And you're absolutely right that it's much easier to experience something than imagine it from reading about it. I tried to learn about your work. I watched some of your videos, but this 5-minute unexpected experience gave me much more insight.
Yeah, it's nice that we're talking together. It gives that aliveness of a relationship, and that's felt. That's felt. Yeah, I feel it too.
I feel much more present in our conversation than I was 10 minutes ago. I feel much more present to myself, you know. I am here and I'm aware of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for
being willing to try that.
This was fun and completely unexpected.
Yeah.
Which brings even more excitement to the situation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
trust. Yeah.
Yeah. I love coming. I love sharing the practices, you know. And the thing that I noticed too that I also really love, especially at, you know, this time of my life, you know, I'm approaching 70, you know, and going, you know, what do I really want to do or be? And I love sharing. This work is perfect for beginners, whether people have, you know, understanding of NVC or not. It's still basic, but it's also really different for people who are advanced trainers, and they can take the work and share it pretty immediately. There's some deeper places that we go that needs more practice and experience, but that it's learnable.
Yeah, and this will come next. After we complete the workshop in October, then we will look for next steps. But let's take one step at a time.
Yes, yes. This will be 3.5 days, which will be a good introduction.
I think so. I think it will be lovely. Yeah, and I'm really touched by your idea of opening your workshop to people who are just at the beginning of the road, and also those who teach NVC. And that's my dream coming true.
Me too. It is such a part of community. Everybody has something important to offer the circle. And training together is really powerful in that way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. And
I'm really looking forward to your workshop in Krakow.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to it too.